Hey guys, my name's Justin and welcome to Houseboro, where we care about the design behind designer luxury. And if you do, make sure to subscribe. I don't know, I just do this. Alright, so for today's video, I have a full review of the published by bucket bag in leather and ABS plastic. Also, there's some metal in here that I actually got on sale, even though it was new for the season because I think a website messed up, but I'm really grateful for it because I got a bag for like over 50% off, so you know, that's really cool. Oh yeah, also it came with 2 handles, also a cloth. Also, you can see there's like a bunch of fingerprints on it, even though I literally just wiped it because that's just how it is. If you're new here, basically when I do bag reviews, I do them out of 5 different categories. And those categories are design, durability, comfort, investment value, and impact. Think like visual impact. And yes, I keep saying that each time, but am I gonna change it? No, because impact sounds better than visual impact, so. Alright, so the first category is design. When you look at just the published by brand in general, and you look at the way that their bags, accessories, whatever are designed, there is a real sort of futurism. A lot of their things look very alien, organic, yet inorganic. The forms feel very organic or inspired by nature, but then the materials or the way it reads doesn't read super natural. Like you see like chromed, mirrored kind of surfaces, and this bag is no exception. So you can tell that the inspiration for this bag has to be some sort of water, where it's like a rock falling into water where the black is the rock, and then you see the water kind of coming up and grazing the sides, but then it's maybe like it's like a liquid metal or something like that, where it doesn't read like water. I think that's something that's really beautiful about this brand. There's a lot of kind of like parametric design concepts. It seems almost like in a way removed from fashion, or let me rephrase that. Not removed from fashion, but it feels almost like irreverent. I don't know, it's just like it's a balance between a bunch of different schools of thought is what it feels like to me. Okay, so if we're talking about the practicalities of this bag, it does read differently than some of their bags, because I think the core of their collection is based off of like completely hard-shelled bags that are completely like chromed out. So it's that ABS plastic, or even some of them I think are stainless steel, becoming the whole bag, and this is kind of that mix in between. It's not that they haven't necessarily figured it out entirely, but I think maybe there's some things about this bag where it's style over substance, if that makes sense, right? On some of the other bags that they do, like Ruby's Lost Stone or Phil's Third Eye, there are places for the chain to like naturally attach. There's also like a handle with a rope on both of them to make it more like a clutch. This does not necessarily have that. I mean, you can kind of like carry it by little drawstrings. They feel really thick, sturdy, but I feel like they don't really do much. When you like pull it tight, it still stays like quite open. Really quickly, I wanted to talk about the chains. There's a thicker strap that's kind of like a shoulder strap where you can like kind of use it as a top handle. And there's also a longer, thinner strap that you can use as like a crossbody or as a shoulder strap. There's nothing stand out about these. Honestly, these look like chains that you could find on like Etsy or something. That being said, I do think that there's a nice detail of each of the clasps have published by engraved on them. So then you at least get that kind of, not just like purchased from mass supplier, even though I'm pretty sure they were, but then, you know, they just gave them a little bit of personality. Yeah, they're pretty plain. But the way that they attach is through these little clips. And as you can see, there's not any like really obvious way to attach this to the bag, but there are some holes. So these plaques, I don't know if you can hear it, but that's actually metal. Any of the plaques that are not attached to like the base of the bag are metal, but then the rest of it is ABS plastic. So it's the same plastic that Legos are made out of. In wearing this bag, trying to figure it out, they give you a lot of options, I guess, but not any that are super great to only use it on the metal, which I thought was what would make the most sense, so then you don't have the chance of scratching it so much. But it doesn't feel super balanced there, so I end up putting it on this one, and then actually I do it on the plastic here. Like you see how it like fits nicely I've probably shown it like that, but like in my like tests, I found that like, yeah, see, this is the only way that it really stays like super balanced. I just wish that there was a more obvious way. Another thing that I find kind of weird, inside the bag, there is a lining and you can feel that it's loose from, not loose, but like it's separate from the leather. But then the places where there's plaques or also like the base of the bag, the way they attached it is screws that are just kind of like there. When you're putting stuff in there, like if you have a phone or sunglasses, I was worried that it was gonna scratch. Like there's nothing sharp there, but it is still like a piece of plastic with a bit of metal sticking out. So I'm like, there's always the chance to scratch or whatever. And it doesn't feel great, you know? Like I get if you're putting your keys in the same thing, it's like, okay, you're doing the same thing, but it is kind of weird. Which is like super cool when you like pay a lot for a bag and you're like, oh, it's gonna ruin the stuff that I put in it. I guess when looking at the design, it is so outstanding when you take a look at like the form and even like the feel. You know, it's not like the nicest leather, but it still feels pretty nice. But in general, I think there's just a couple of things that keep me from saying like, oh, this bag is like perfectly designed. So I guess for that, I will have to give it a, what, an 8 out of 10. Okay, let's jump into durability. I think I briefly touched on this either like 2 seconds ago or also in like the first impression video, which I'll link somewhere. But I had concerns since like the base is plastic, but it's a Lego plastic. So I'm like how likely is it to chip? But in wearing this bag, I honestly haven't noticed any sort of scratches or flaking or anything of the chrome coating. And then the metal, I have no worries for. And the leather, it's like this nice in between where like it does feel nice, but it also doesn't feel like it's gonna like scratch super easily, which I think is really great. I think it's weird to hear someone be like, oh, this leather's not the best, I love it. But I think that's kind of how it works. And I mean, me saying that there's no scratches on it right now doesn't mean that I don't maybe expect there to eventually be scratches. Maybe I'll do like a follow-up video of if and when that happens, but like so far I've worn this bag a few times actually, which is like kind of strange considering how weird this bag looks. As much as I want to say like, oh yeah, the durability on this bag is like amazing, there still is like part of me that's like, this bag is part plastic. It's gonna something at some point, and I haven't really like dropped this in a major way, so I guess we'll just have to see. But until then, it hasn't let me down so far, so I think I'm gonna stick with let's give it another 8. Alright, and now jumping into comfort, I mean, what does there to say about it? This is a plastic bag. I will say something very redeeming about it is that when you wear it on your body with this facing your body, even though all of the pictures show it reversed, which I'm like, do you want the brand to be out there? Like, if you wanted the brand to be out there, put it in a way that makes more sense ergonomically or like more sense with the body. Put it there. But if you wear it like on your hip or on your like side or whatever with that, it actually feels really nice. Despite it not being like a softer bag, it feels like it like melts into your body in a way, which I think is really interesting considering this bag looks kind of like liquid in a way, right? That being said, that is the only good thing about comfort, I have to say. It is a very challenging bag to carry, despite there being so much versatility in the strap lengths, carrying it by this or carrying it by this if you wanted to. Honestly, I feel like this is more comfortable to carry than with like the straps. Like these, they're just chains. I fully understand now why like the classic flap or whoever else, they do like chains with interwoven leather because it softens it. It feels a little bit nicer on the skin. This, it's cold metal on your soft, fragile body. Like, that's what this is. I mean, honestly, this is my least favorite part of the bag because it feels like the most like leftovery kind of like, sure, we'll just throw something in there. Like I would have preferred almost like a leather strap or something, I don't know, something else. This kind of kills the vibe for me, you know what I mean? On the flip side, I know like when I talk about comfort, I mostly talk about comfort from like, how does it sit on the body? Is it comfortable to wear? But there's a couple other points I wanted to bring in here. There's a certain discomfort when you're talking about carrying this bag because you don't want it to scratch because it is plastic. And it is a little bit like, ugh, is today the day? Like, am I gonna like bump into a wall or like a child or something and like I don't know why a child would scratch this, but you know, they might. Also, like the inside, it's a little uncomfortable, like putting some of your stuff that you know could get scratched when there's like these little like nubs in here that could potentially scratch it. And that is not great. And then on top of that, like the closure, this makes me a little uncomfy because it still is quite open. And if like a pickpocket maybe has like small hands, like maybe there's children pickpockets or something. Like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Children are the problem. But they like put their hands in here and you could easily grab something. That's uncomfy as well. Or just the fact that it is slightly open, so if like it gets knocked or something, you know what I mean? Like it's all these things that kind of add up. Sure, if we were talking about like just wearing it on your body, it would probably get like a decently high score. And I mean, if the strap was different and there was something like beautiful and amazing, but when we're taking in all these other factors, honestly, I think I'm gonna have to like bring it kind of down, and I'm gonna give this one, for comfort, like a 6.5. Let's talk about investment value. So I know I've said it a billion times, I'll say it again. Investment value is my least favorite category, but I know it's important for some people. And I do think it's important even for myself to like acknowledge like, what are we doing here? That being said, it's a new brand. I feel like nobody really knows this brand besides Beyoncé. But I think when you have a brand like this, like not well known, and the bag isn't like a crazy hyped up viral limited edition, the only way people are going to want to pick up this bag second hand is if it has like a deep discount. That being said, since I got this at 50% off, I could probably put it out there for like a little bit more than what I paid for, since it still is like not on sale right now, and like make the money back that I did. But that is such a very specific example that I feel like it's almost not relevant when talking about this, right? And then on top of that, like, because this is a new brand, I don't know how well the leather is going to wear. I don't know how the plastic is going to wear. I don't know how these little plaques are going to wear. They feel super secure, and I doubt they're going to rip off, but you don't know until you actually like experience it, right? Until it's been around for however long. Investment value, if we're just pulling in all these kind of like uncertainties, honestly, I'm gonna have to give this a 5. And then that takes us to the last category, which is impact. This bag, since it also does not really look like a bag, definitely gets some attention. But not in a way that like people are gonna be like, oh my god, this is amazing. Can I touch your bag? I wanna hold it. Whatever. It really is more from the fact that it is just kind of unusual, and like I think it's more so like people that you know are gonna be like, oh, that's weird. Like, what's the deal with that? Which is also fine. I will say that it's nothing in the same way as like some of my like Loewe pieces where like the light up thing absolutely gets stares, the castle, any of the Ghibli stuff in general, or even like the Gucci hourglass. Those pieces are the ones that get people talking, I think, because there's also a certain level of like hype behind those. Even if people are aware of like Beyoncé holding the Ruby's Lost Stone bag, I think this bag also looks different enough that they're not going to recognize it's the same brand. You know what I mean? Does it also really matter? I don't know. So I think when it comes to impact, it's like a nice happy average, right? Where it gets enough attention from like the people you know and care about, but then it doesn't get attention from people on the street, which I would say like, let's give it a nice average score. So for attention, I would give this a 7. Okay, so that gives this a score of a 34.5 out of 100. It's like, nice. That also means that it's kind of like a D. Anytime I make these bag reviews, it's never like, this bag is good, this bag is bad. This is just my experience with it to help you kind of understand where I'm at with this bag. So if you're interested in this bag, you can take a look at the separate scores, kind of reflect on them for yourself, and then see how it is. Because there could be people who don't care about some of the things that I care about, who would then like look at my score and be like, oh, I would raise that one, I would raise that one, I would lower that score or whatever, because that's not important. And then this could be like an A+ bag for them. But for me, it's a D. Does it mean I dislike it? The D is for dislike. No, it doesn't. For me, it means there's a lot of uncertainties about this bag that we just kind of have to wait and see even longer. Like it could be like a year or 2 down the road and I'm like, hey, this still hasn't gotten a scratch. I'm gonna up the durability. I'm gonna up the comfort. Let me know what you guys think. Would you buy it? I don't know. I just love hearing from you guys. So just put, you know, whatever, say hi. That's all I have for you today. So if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know that you like this kind of content and that you too care about the design. behind designer luxury. Until next time, I don't know. Oh my god. This is amazing. I touch your back. I wanna hold it. Whatever.